Good afternoon, champions, and welcome to the weekly Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms live stream. My name is Dylan, and I am your mostly neutral host. Mostly. Before we begin, I would like to thank Wizards of the Coast and the Dungeons & Dragons team for hosting us on the official D&D Twitch. It is very awesome being part of their crazy good Thursday lineup. Trapped in a Birdcage is on here, Critical Role is on here. I think Tales from Candlekeep was on here briefly today as well. I can't remember. Yeah, thank you. And welcome. Welcome Lauren Obo Crazy, welcome Garawar, Jirik, Colette, Damon Rath, currently running the Codename Entertainment account is Erica, our community manager, who handles all of our, well, everything community management related. Niall Sustanet, Ted Faster, Baron Stromgard, Talwyn, Silisa, welcome, welcome, welcome. Grioger, Draco 136934, Athioxy, Mini Terrain Domain, Source, The DOS, St. John 70, None of your blindness? None of your blindness? Business? None of your business. Okay. Sorry, your name is so bright I can barely read it. Computer Ninja, Mars of the Manor, Daylight Asunder, Lunatic's Archasm, Highhawks, Alfie MS, Xbox Happy, Sylphied, Makise, Manures. Wow, just like so many people coming in. Okay, I can't keep up. You guys are actually now going a little bit too fast for me. So, what's on the agenda for today? I do not have a guest joining me today because, as it turns out, our artists are way too busy. None of them have time to join me, and none of the things that they are working on are ready to be shared. And our dev team is very, very busy as well. So that leaves you with me. It's just you and me. So I'm gonna go over the last couple weekly Q&As that we did on Reddit, just because there were quite a few things that we covered that there was some confusion around. Some of it may or may not have been caused by me, because I certainly made at least one mistaken response over the course of the last few weeks that has led to some more confusion. And also, I just wanted to kind of bring to the community the list that I took from all of your feedback and brought to the dev team, and make sure that that is what we want to be talking about. It's based off of most of the items on that list are things that have come up more than once, and in many cases more than twice or thrice. So yeah, and at the same time I will poorly play the game, devoting it very little attention to it, and I think that one is currently doing the Silken Swamp and is approaching Area 50, so people will get to see that cool part. So yes, welcome to the stream, and let's pull up the game. Apparently I should join the stream, and yes, we're underway here. I have way more gold than I need to get past Area 46, especially since I also already have Regis and Jamila and Barrowin and Calliope and Birdsong, and yeah, my party is basically full. So that's good. Jirik asking whether or not there will be Steam achievements for the new adventures. Yes, I think they've been pushed. I don't know if you're seeing them yet, but they should be out. That went out earlier today. This is one of those things where we unintentionally, I think, forgot to hit the button kind of thing. But they should be out now. So yeah, just gonna do some levels here, and then I'll get into some of the Q&A stuff. Yes. Yeah, see, Smirkgrin said he had to restart, but he got them. So yes, they are live. Yeah, it's funny updating games and having Steam restart and all that stuff. So I'm gonna pull up this list built before. Okay. Before I pull up that list, we have a couple questions already that I will get through. Canuck Monkey 13 wants to know, asks us, please stop rearranging the order of specialization choices. I'm assuming everybody read the patch notes, but if you didn't, there was a part talking about how we assigned IDs to all of the specializations and set them into an order so that they should never change again. but that because we did that, some of them will have shifted around this time. It should be the last time. So yeah, they did move. Quite a few of them moved, but they shouldn't move anymore. And Niall Sustanet, as everyone is busy prepping for the tank update launch tomorrow. We are not launching the tank update tomorrow, at least not as far as I know. That would be a huge surprise. I'm pretty sure everybody is working on content for something I can't say. So there. Ted Faster, did you intentionally antagonize Loth with all the spider killing in the adventure? Yes. Algorithms. So, will Dragonlance ever be a potential setting, or is this a Forgotten Realms specific game? So, the world of Krynn, that many of us love from the Dragonlance novels, is another part of the D&D multiverse. And right now, we are currently focused on the Forgotten Realms, on Faerun, very specifically. There are a lot of characters directly related to the lore of the Forgotten Realms that we have not included in the game yet, including some that we have definitely hinted towards that we will be adding. You know, if you're really paying attention to the lineup that you already have. So we have no shortage of characters on the horizon for coming into the game. So I don't anticipate that we will change settings dramatically anytime soon. So sorry to all those you know, Raceland Majir or Kender fans who are hoping that maybe we would get one of those characters in there. It's probably not going to happen soon. Niall Sustanet, Elminster confirmed. Oh, wouldn't it be nice to have Elminster? But I feel like if we have 12 slots in the game and they gradually cost more to, at their base level, have more powerful characters, that Elminster is going to be way further, right? Like way too powerful to have introduced yet. You know, give it another year or two. So let me pull up this this list. Because these are repeat questions. And it's probably more helpful for me to have these handy. So there are quite a few things that come up every single week during our stream. Oh, what's this? Is that a boss? That's a huge spider queen. Okay. Fun tidbit. I actually kept stopping at Michelle's desk while she was drawing this spider because look at it. That is epic and scary and awesome. Well done. Okay. That seemed easy now, but like, how hard is that at higher levels? I'm gonna leave this running the whole stream, so hopefully I can get past 150, but maybe not. Okay, so these are the chief notes that I took from the Q&A yesterday on the subreddit to the dev team that I posted in their Mattermost, just as a list. And so some of them are new items, things that were from yesterday. Some of them are returning things from the week before, and then there's just sort of a consolidated list of wants, like things that the community is requesting. So the top one that is coming up the most of late is some kind of content roadmap. It's a really tough subject for us to get into in terms of why we don't already do something like it. And there are a lot of different opinions on how we could approach it if we were to do something like that internally. So, you know, I don't have an ETA on it, but I hear you. That's something that you want. And so I will continue to bring that to the team. Yeah, the offline gold gain update that we were hoping to bring into the chest and posters update, as well as the silver shiny, the shiny item drop algorithm that we were hoping to change with the tank and potions update. Neither of those made it in, and I don't have ETAs for when they will be done, but they are on our list. So just keep reminding us, honestly. Keep checking in. You know, as some of you may have gathered by now, we are a small enough team that you know, it's easy for things to get lost because we have some pretty clear content deadlines that we're always trying to always trying to match. And sometimes people, like one of our developers plays hockey and gets their foot crushed by a skate and has to go to the clinic the next day instead of coming into work. So there are things that can really push stuff back. Obviously, everybody's really hoping for a way to gear and unlock event champions outside of events. And while we haven't given a way to gear to unlock champions outside of events yet, or event champions outside of events, you can, to a degree, get them some gear when we do weekend promotions for specific events and buff weekends. That's so far been one of the ways that we've added to like help get you some gear for it. But that's not the only thing that we're hoping to do. I just there isn't anything else I can share about that subject, except to say that we do intend to have another way to unlock event champions and gear them up outside of events. Now there are a couple other updates that have been mentioned over between the dev blog and past the last few streams and the last few Q&As related to champion just balancing and equipment changes, as well as the tanking and healing update that we teased. We don't have an ETA for those. They are on our internal roadmap, but we don't have even close to a date to give for it. So that information, what will likely happen is we'll do another dev blog in advance of whenever those kinds of things get implemented, and we'll talk about it a bit on that stream, and then it'll hopefully, when that happens, come out shortly after. So yeah. Now, I get a lot of UI requests and suggestions related to everything from turning off screen shake to adding engineer's notation in addition to scientific notation for displaying gold numbers, to overhauling the champion journal. So we will, what's this? Sorry, somebody sent me a personal message. So yeah, we're trucking away at it. It's kind of one of those things where it's so distracting when people message you. Pull this back up. I tabbed out and lost my train of thought. Okay, so yes, like UI requests. So first, we have a UI section for suggestions on the official Discord, which, if you are not already there with us, is discord.gg/idlechampions. We're actually, by we I mean the us and the greater community of Idle Champions are just creating resources on that Discord for people. So one of our community leaders, Archimedes, who's I don't know if he's Archimedes in chat or on Reddit, because I think people's usernames tend to switch between. Maybe it's Archimedes on Twitch chat, but it has taken on putting together a community resource for players, new players, old players, people looking for different types of things for the game, looking for where we broadcast and release chess codes, that kind of thing. And so that is coming together on the official Discord. So that's discord.gg/idlechampions, which hopefully Erica can share. Yeah, there we go. And thanks, Lauren, as well, for sharing that. Yeah, so please just consolidate your UI suggestions. We get quite a few of them, and so we do take them all in, and they do get passed to the team, but they can take some time to get implemented, because, as I mentioned, with a team as small as ours, we're always really pushing ourselves to meet our next content deadlines, and we haven't managed to get ahead of things yet this year, just because of the Plague January, and then which is why some of the updates of late, like the fixes to cooldown reduction items and or balancing, and the chess and potions update came out late on Fridays, because our devs were pushing themselves to get it done. So that's kind of just the way that it goes. We would all love to be Blizzard and have a definitive patch Tuesday when everything rolls out within a set window, but we're just not there. All right, back to questions. So, the Dr. Phobos. So UI suggestions. The more concise and detailed your list, and the better you are able to describe it, the more helpful it is to us. The Discord is probably the best place for it if you're going to put together a chunk of them, because we have a channel there for it. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to get back into some questions. So, let's just say, Ghostly Looks. Will we see Kender and or Gully Dwarf heroes? I can't really spoil any of the upcoming characters. I can say that the next character is an in-house creation, is a unique character to Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms. Money's worth. When Deacon is added to the game, would he have a design that is akin to his 3.5 design, or would he be updated for 5e's Kobold? That's a really good question, Money's worth one. So, as a rule, for developing Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms, everything has to be converted to 5e. Now, that isn't to say that Deacon won't appear like he already did. If we added him to the game, like, of course he would, right? You would want him to look like he always does. But that also, there's a design restriction around every character coming into the game that they have to be converted to 5e. So, yeah. If and when we bring a beloved character from somewhere else into the game, they will be updated while still hopefully retaining, being true to their original design, and everything has to go through and be approved by Wizards of the Coast anyways. So, yeah. Tib5471. Long-time player, first-time viewer. Any plans to give players the opportunity to get characters they missed? So, as earlier mentioned, one of our most common questions. So, there's a few things happening around that. So, when the intent behind events is that at least some of them will be annual events, in which case it would happen every year, and you would get the opportunity to unlock that character and potentially any other characters associated with that event every year that the event happens. Now, that being said, that isn't the only way we intend to have players unlocking champions. We just haven't figured out yet exactly how we want to do the other way. So, yeah, bear with us. I really hope that we get a system in place before we start hitting year 2 of events. But you know, it's I can't hazard a guess on when that will be added. Okay, Draugr. I'm just gonna read your question here while I take a drink. Instead of just a local map, depending on what quest you are on, could we get a world map? So do you mean for the map screen when you're picking quests? The way that the map shows up, I believe, is campaign specific. But I'll make a note about that just to pass that along, just in case we need more detail. Because I hear what you're saying, because like when you start the Tomb of Annihilation event, you're like way down in, I think, Daggerford, and like you can't see the rest of the Sword Coast, and then when you go to Chult at different times, you can see different parts of it, and so yeah, I don't think we'll be able to see everything at once, but yeah, I don't know. We can pass it along and just you know, maybe take a glance at the map at some point. I'll just make a note about it. Giant Dwarf. Welcome, Giant Dwarf. If according to Steam's logs, only 1% of players have unlocked Dritz, was part of the logic on why Bardsong swapped with Makos and Dritz, why is the content update only playable past that 1%? It's not. You're forgetting that Dritz was unlockable through one of the extremely hard variants of Overdue Rendezvous, but not through Overdue Rendezvous themselves. So if you've completed Overdue Rendezvous, but not Dritz, you should still be able to access the other missions past that, I believe. I'll get somebody to confirm that, but I'm pretty positive that's the case, and it's hard for me to check right now because I've completed all that stuff. But yes, you know, I know there was some feedback that we got about how you know, we were adding a second swap to a slot before 3 or 4 of our other champions had no swaps. But what I can say, we do need to recruit Dritz for it. Oh, okay. I will follow up and ask why then, because I was under the impression that we only had to do the adventure, not the variant. So I will make a note and pass that to the team, Giant Dwarf. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so when it comes to swaps, I can say that there is a list that has our next, I don't know how many months worth of events, dates, and character releases, but the swaps are pre-planned out. I can also say that the next champion swaps with somebody who has never had a swap before. Sylphid, would it be possible to show the buffs a champion has when you hover the lower portrait? Oh, so you mean on the lower part instead of just on the thing? Okay, I will make a note about that. Pedal Stomper, when do we get to replace Brunner or Minsk with new heroes? Hint, hint. I can't comment on that. Scarlet Evans, going back to previous area after completing the current one, auto progression is off. Sometimes pops up the dialogue from the next one, like you go back but the dialogue with the boss appears. Where is the best place to report such and other bugs? So, the best place to report bugs is always going to be by opening a support ticket for the game, just down here in the bottom right corner of the screen, which is probably hidden behind my face, I think. Is it? Yeah, it's behind my face. Can you see the mouse cursor below the overlay? There's a little H there. Anyways, click that support button, open a ticket. Those go directly to Dave and or Mark, depending on which devs are around. Yeah, report all the bugs, please. Ghostly Looks. How often will we see events to unlock characters? Roughly monthly, semi-monthly, every 6 months, holidays, annual, heck, randomly. Thanks. We don't have an established cadence yet for our event schedule. We do aim to be about monthly, maybe even a little bit faster than monthly. We try to have a week or two break in between each event. Yes, and it looks like there's a Moobot raffle opening, so please explode the chat with your exclamation raffles. Yeah, here we go indeed, Lauren. So what is it? What is it today? What are we doing with this one? This is for one of the Force Grey DLCs. It is for an Archon Force Grey DLC. Archon the Cruel, Joe Manganiello's Red Dragon, evil Oathbreaker Paladin, who stole the hand of Vecna in the finale of Critical Role. So that comes with a bunch of chests. It comes with a golden epic item. I believe I have it in my inventory here. It comes with the holy symbol of Tiamat and a set of rares for him. So, you know, if you don't have a decked out champion yet who has a golden epic, it could actually make Archon viable as your DPS, although many players will still be using Jamila or Hitch. Yeah, so good luck and congratulations. Let's see, Darkfire Savior. Were gold box drops from free play adjusted for the last event? I've heard you say that the previous events were 1 out of 3. My friends and I had a desperately lower drop rate than this for the Birdsong event, and I just wanted to hear if you had to change something. Okay, so Darkfire Savior. Justin said on stream that it's 1 in 3, but there's no bad luck production on it, so it's just pure RNG. So I'm sorry you had bad luck with it. Okay, Deathly Hero. Will the damage numbers go back to before the last patch update? What I'm not sure I understand the question. Are your damage numbers changed? I'm not gonna lie. I have been waiting until now mostly to play the new update because I wanted to actually have something that I hadn't seen before on stream. Because I get the cliff notes on what's coming out, and I help put together the blog and social media and stuff like that in between things, and I haven't always seen it. But I believe my cap for this group was somewhere around E60, E61 damage, so if I am significantly lower by the end of the stream, let me know. Alright. Tolwyn. Would it be possible to have another way to see Nayeli's tank health? It's hard to see it when there are lots of mobs, and opening the sheet on the bottom slows down using abilities. This is one of our commonly requested UI-related elements. In that, never mind Nayeli's health bar, which is hard to see here. When there's enemies here, you can't really see it. It's difficult to see other characters' health bars and their buffs that kind of like extend behind the character on the battleground, so or on the map, the screen. So yeah, I'll just make a note about it and pass it on. Triple J A double D S Jads. What are the odds of getting a formation with more than 10 slots eventually? Would love to experiment with every possible character. What I can say about that is that there are a great number of formation combinations that we have not tried. Bearded Conrad, congratulations on your all-new Archon DLC. And for anybody wondering what the code right there is, the Grand Tour loot box, that is the gold chest code for the week to celebrate the release of the Grand Tour Part 4. So let me just put this in here. Cool beans. Should I open this now? Yeah, why not? Ah. Okay, cool. All right. Moving on. Okay, Deathly Hero. My damage number dropped from E60 to E57 after the update. Same formation and same buffs for the damage. Can't even get to level 200 now. Stuck at level 194. Now, when you say that everything was the same, do you mean that you were in the same mission and you closed the game, updated, and then loaded again, and then you were lower? Yeah. Because I mean, there could be something that's unintended going on there, so I would definitely report a bug if you've lost, because E57 to E60 is orders of magnitude less, or E60 to E57 is orders of magnitude less DPS, so yeah. Route Jarvie. Hey Dylan, I have a question about the character specs. Why are they placed differently depending on which campaign you play? It's been so many times that I've screwed up my character specializations when I played on the Tomb of Annihilation and changed to play the Grand Tour. So we actually updated the release yesterday, the Grand Tour Part 4. We added IDs to the specializations so that they would stop moving around, because we have been noticing pretty much since September that every once in a while when we do an update or we make some kind of change, that the specializations for some of the champions would move. They'd swap sides or what have you, and so we added IDs to them this last patch to hopefully stop that from ever happening again. So if you are still having issues, please let us know, but it should be fixed now. Greyhex. For Jamila, you prefer speed or brute strength? I go with brute strength right now, but there are probably going to be instances where speed is better. Because I'm using Barrowan, I don't want her to attack any faster, because I want her to, on occasion, be able to get a double stack of Barrowan's buff. Yeah. Yeah, and just, I'm glad that Chad is helping out with the lower DPS thing, because there are so many factors, and so it's hard for me to even remotely try to diagnose what might have happened with you. So yeah, please share more info. Silisa says speed got an update versus brute. Has it? I haven't. Again, I haven't really looked at this patch. I was doing other things and waiting to check it out. But I do have a less damaging but more frequent attacks, or with the level cap. Oh, the level cap increased with. Oh, I see. Okay, I haven't. I should take a look. Is it better DPS now? And yes, as Garwar points out, it's picking the wrong specialization by clicking by habit can also drop DPS. I know that I had to, the hard way, develop the habit of pausing at specializations and reading which one's which before clicking, because I have messed those up before, and those potions of specialization actually don't drop very frequently, so I'm glad that's working. I level these guys up just because why not? Yeah, cool. Cool. Drow cultists, more foolish adventurers. Huh. Cool. All right. Yeah. So, what else is happening? I already mentioned that the next champion is original and does swaps with somebody who hasn't swapped before. I don't know. No, we'll start talking about that one next week. How about Monday maybe? Yeah, maybe we'll pass that along to Tito, and he can talk about it in advance. Yeah, that's what we'll do. We'll pass it on to Tito, and maybe he'll mention it during Dragon Talk on Monday. Cahor. Is it still possible for getting gear for Garwin? I didn't get much gear for her, not him, her, during the event, and I can't recall getting any gear since. So you would have needed Winter Shield, I believe it was. Winter Shield? That sounds right. It was Winter Shield or Midwinter. You would have needed event chests in order to gear up Barrowin, unless you purchased chests during a weekend that buffs Barrowin. So it shouldn't currently be possible for you to get any gear for Barrowin, which kind of sucks, but it's kind of like, that's why we want people to focus on actually playing events, because that's their opportunity to both unlock characters and also gear them up. I want to say it was Midwinter, but maybe it was Winter Shield. I get them mixed up because we did 3 winter events like back to back to back. Let me just pull that up, because I think we also didn't do a promo. Midwinter was Regis, and then it would have been Winter Shield before that. So that would have been when you got Barrowin, and then it was Cymril before that, which is where you got Dadia. So yeah, we did 3 winter events back to back to back. Chomp the Spear. Since Birdsong released after Lost in the Deep, any chance we can get a pass on her to be playable in Lost in the Deep? Or is that specifically designed to only use 6 champions no matter what for the last push? Oh, that's the one where you're losing slots the whole time, right? Which ones are blocked out, I believe, was predetermined, and so Birdsong will technically never be an option for that one, I think. But I will, I'll pass that along, because I don't want to just bullshit and talk up my ass and make up an answer that might be incorrect. Toxie77, Wet Feet is impossible. Which one is Wet Feet? I haven't. Let me just pull that up. Variant for the Silken Swamp. Champions have a random chance on each attack to step in the swamp, getting wet feet and reducing their attack speed by 50% for 3 attacks. That doesn't sound impossible. What's the level on that? Probably like 175. It's probably extremely difficult. Chomp the Spear seems to have completed it, and I imagine Silisa and Garwar and a few other players have completed it. Strong Arm 852. Okay, well, I'm glad you guys beat it. But yeah, I would think that the slower attack speed might be a helpful thing if you use a Barrowin formation, because you could actually get 4 stacks, which will allow you to kill anything, pretty much. Smirkgren. Could you maybe implement a chest change where if all vanilla champions are fully epic, you will start to receive upgrades for event champions? That would only affect a small percentage of players, but would give them something to look forward to when they do real full epic. I will pass along your suggestion to Justin and not get myself in trouble by trying to answer that question, because I don't have an answer for it. Thamaka23, 4K monitor user, so tired of the fact that I cannot read text unless I play on a full screen at lower than 1920 by 1080. That'll be passed along. Was that this week or was that a leftover question from before? I don't know. But yeah, more resolutions. We'll make notes. Yeah. So some people are getting through wet feet with fire breath potions. Others are having trouble. Okay. Yeah, I am surprisingly unfamiliar with this content because it came out late enough in the day yesterday that we published everything, and some of us went home and did other things, and I was waiting until today to even play. So I usually have at least completed the objectives by a day after they've come out, but I haven't today. So I'm a little bit more new to this than perhaps many of you are. Baron Stromgard. Can you please consider adding a tooltip to chests similar to Crusaders that tells you what equipment that chest might drop? As more chest types are introduced, it will be harder to remember what is in each type if you are holding on to them. That is a fantastic suggestion that I will pass along. Thanks, Baron Stromgard. Ashnor 42. Just starting out today, came in from the Razor promotion. Anything I missed out on so far? Whew. Ashnor 42, please join us on the Discord. I don't know how familiar you are with idle games or clicker games or with D&D, but that is such a massive question that like made my brain partially melt. There are some phenomenal people and resources in here, so there are more than enough people in chat who could start connecting you with resources and directing you to different things. The Discord, the official Discord for Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms is discord.gg/idlechampions. There's a whole host of channels. They all have descriptions on what kind of information you can do in them. You can chat about in them, and also at the same time where to find different things. We have some awesome moderators on there. We have Malthus and Axis of Anarchy both helping to moderate on the official Discord. As well, we have a community leader, Archimedes, who is putting together a FAQ for the game on the Discord that's still in progress, but there's at least a draft up, which would probably help you with many of your questions. So yeah, join us on the Discord. That is the best way to have the community help out with you, because there tends to be a few hundred players at least hanging out in there at any given time. So yeah. Mars of the Manor. Is there any question you want us to ask that we haven't yet? That is a very good question, Mars of the Manor, and it's the kind of question that as a former journalist, I used to always close out interviews with, just to see if there's anything that the person wanted to talk about. There are a lot of things I would love to talk about, but I am not allowed to. So, yeah. I don't know. I mean, I love talking about D&D. You can ask me questions about D&D. I am far from an expert. There are many people in chat who are far more familiar with the rules and the campaigns and such than I am. But yeah, I mean, we love talking about it. I could talk about the Office campaign and where we're at right now. I mean, I don't know how many hours in, but we tend to play probably 2 to 3 times at lunch during the week for our Office D&D game. We're doing Curse of Strahd. It is Adam Kosh, our art director, lead artist, is DMing the game, and then Clive, Alexis, Kat, Peter, and myself are the players. And we did not metagame for this campaign, so it's going to be a challenge. Although we do have much more healing than we thought we would have, which is very cool. We just this past lunch hour we spent most of it as a group foolishly ascending a 1,000-foot cliff face because we entered a canyon instead of going around and ascending it properly. It was intense because you could fail a roll and fall to your real death. So glad that didn't happen. And we're picking a very precarious place to camp right now before the next session, which will hopefully be tomorrow, but might be next week. So yeah, that's enough off-topic stuffs. All right, next question. Azrael Ravenheart. Is there any plan to re-release prior event characters that some of us missed because they were before we started? Yes. Both, you know, I don't want to commit to every event being an annual event because not all events necessarily will be. But at worst, it'll be the amount of time coming around to Real Death you play for games. At worst, it'll take however much time to get back to an event or a time of an event to unlock them. So like Stokey's Harvesttide was September, but we are exploring ideas for other ways to have a way of unlocking event characters, because yes, not every player started at the same time. Lots of people missed different characters, and some of the ones that people have missed are now considered to be integral to different formations. Certainly Barrowan and Birdsong and Stokey stand out as huge examples, and depending on what kind of gear you got, Regis, Dadius, you know, nobody's complaining about missing Gromma or Krond right now, but when they get reworks, maybe they will. So yeah, it'll happen, but we don't have an ETA on it. Desperados. Are there any plans to expand Ashara's bond ability to include later introduced races? No, there aren't. I could give the game designer style answer to that, which is to say that if Ashara could bond with any type of race, then you would never ever have a reason to swap Ashara out of that slot. But also, you know, we want to give other people options, other champions options to have different types of buffs as well. So we would rather shake up the meta more. Now that being said, I understand that for some players you will have 2 golden epic items on Ashara, because Ashara is one of 3 characters that we've had two golden items for, the other being Jamila and Bruner. So that makes Ashara very essential for some players. But yes, we are not intending to add additional bonds. Stormtrooper, no, Ashara is not our next swap. The next swap character is somebody who has not swapped yet. Scarlet Evans. Do you plan to add things like destroyed instead of killed for inanimate things like debris? Even though it's quite fun to see 0-1 cliffside debris killed, one can have mixed feelings if it's one of the first things a new player sees. So it's kind of a grammar thing. Oh, excuse me. And it's something that is always evolving on our end. It seems to be that with most releases we do a subsequent hotfix that fixes a lot of typos and other things, just because we create a fair amount of content for the amount of written content, and man, you can improve things so many times. I don't know how many of you have worked in any kind of print, but it's amazing how good people can be at proofreading and still miss things. So just keeps us on our toes. But yes, thank you for pointing that out. I'll make a note, or Erica will beat me to it and make a note already. All right, Giant Dwarf. Where are the other 2 sources of codes? There's this Twitch stream, Maze Arcana, occasionally Tito, the drunken guys. So actually, I gave out all of that information to Archimedes yesterday for his FAQ on the official Discord. Let me pull up what Clive sent me, because Clive is actually the marketing director, the handsome, dapper gentleman with the British accent who has joined me a couple times on stream. He puts together all of the giveaway code stuff with our partners. So let me see if I can find where he sent me the list of people that do that. We talk so much on Mattermost that it can be hard for me to find answers like that, though. But yeah, let's see. Off the top of my head, we do Dungeon Drunks, the podcast, How We Roll, Perception Check, and Maze Arcana. I think that's it right now. I think it's those 4. 5 if you include the stream, 6 if you include our newsletter. So people who are really plugged into the Dungeons and Dragons community, following a lot of the streams, and are able to get the codes within the deadline times, can get, you know, a half dozen chests a week, just for free. Onster31185, what is your favorite D&D module? I know we always talk about 5e because 5e is so incredibly accessible and such a brilliant version of Dungeons and Dragons. I love Eberron and I love Dark Sun. They are awesome, awesome settings. Yeah, I don't know that. I mean, I wish they were converted to 5e, but I'm totally fine if they don't. There are more than enough tools out there for somebody to convert it to 5e themselves if they wanted to. Certainly, Unearthed Arcana has had versions of Warforged and such in there. But yeah, either Dark Sun or Eberron. They just, I don't know, the like, I don't want to say more low fantasy because there's like living robots and stuff, but less magic and more gritty survival style D&D I really like. That being said, I'm playing both through Curse of Strahd and Tomb of Annihilation right now, and loving Curse of Strahd. It's so atmospheric in such a wonderful way. But maybe that's my bias towards Ravenloft and Gothic horror. Who knows? Yeah, Onster, that is, one does not simply have a favorite D&D module. Yeah. Sorry, Darkfire Saber, I should clarify. Dark Sun, less magic. Eberron, there's different stuff. Yeah. Giant Dwarf. Might be a little metagaming in all your healing, as healing is a bit more critical in Ravenloft. So we didn't intend to have a whole bunch of healers because Kat's character joined our team late. We rescued her character from the gallows, and she's our cleric. Before that, we had a lower bard who also had Cure Wounds and Healing Word, and a druid that also had Cure Wounds. But we, like, the closest thing to a tank character we had was my Hexblade Warlock, who basically needs to use magic to have enough shields to be tanky, or he gets clubbed out by an abomination like he did yesterday or the day before. Dice Hard, what's your favorite race to play? Oh, that's tough. If you're metagaming, it's always Variant Human pretty much because you can get a feat, and that's overpowered nonsense. I really enjoy playing races that are different. Let's just say. I don't get a huge amount of enjoyment out of playing like an elf or a half elf or a human, because they're just fantasy boring to me. My current character is a Shadowkai Warlock, which is to say a pretty gloomy elf. Lives in the Shadowfell, because that was the only way I could make an elf interesting, and also I wanted to make the most dark and emo-like character possible for the Curse of Strahd, just because why not? That was the theme behind the character. My other one is an Aasimar cleric, which I love. Aasimar is rad. Yeah, I think my next one will be a halfling. Cyber Draconian, is Birdsong the best all-over DPS right now? I don't know that Birdsong is, just because Jamila can hit so hard, but Birdsong is a very viable DPS right now, and is pretty fantastic. Justin Spluter, what is the next character you'd like to play? A halfling. Yeah, I was thinking like a really angry, fighty halfling, just for fun. Maybe. Yeah. Darkfire Savior, weekly chime in for the superiority of fallen Aasimar Hexblade Warlocks. It's that charisma bonus. Also fearing things. Let's see. Eugene Gadir, what's the craziest thing your D&D group has done or pulled off? Oh. In the Office D&D group that we're playing right now, this campaign is still pretty young. I think we're maybe 10, 12 hours of gameplay in. The craziest thing we've done has actually been what we did today, which was scaling a cliff face when we were woefully underprepared, and we just rolled lucky enough to do it. Because yeah, it was a tall enough cliff face that we would have fallen to our deaths with no way of saving us, and you know, it was just kind of like, you know, some of our characters, my character, have a little bit more selfish motivations than some of the other characters. Although I suppose Peter's rogue wants to be the best thief in the world, but like this was the first instance where we all really had to work like a team to do it. And so it was gratifying to have us all like, okay, this is our plan. You know, our druid is going to turn into a giant spider because he can, luckily. And we had 2 extra people that we were escorting with us. And so we strapped one of them to the spider, and he climbed up the cliff face with it. And we just like laid out a plan. Like, you know, the spider would create webbing in different parts to help us grip on our way up, and then we you know, Kat's character is a sailor, and just like came up with some knots, tied the rope that we had together and to each other so we could belay each other, and we scaled the cliff face. And you know, a couple people slipped, fell, or got stuck, but other people managed to roll their strength checks to not fall off the wall with them, etc. And like we managed to make our way up it. And like I know that sounds like a really simple thing, just scaling a cliff, but like when you think about it, 1,000-foot cliff face is like, it's a multi-hour climb. It was fun, and it was more stressful than like a lot of our combat is, because like so many of our abilities are well geared towards combat. And then the same thing with my other group, being diplomatic when the game is setting, like, sorry, I should say successfully being diplomatic with the right characters when the game seems to be setting you up for a major confrontation or a boss fight is really gratifying. I mean, we all remember the times that we roll a critical on something and you get that awesome hit and you smite, you know, X, Y, and Z. But, you know, it's also like getting through completely unscathed, possibly making an ally or not making another enemy, and like getting through something that would easily be a combat mechanic, but finding that other way around it is the part that I enjoy the most. Certainly in my other group, we robbed a tower of tarot men, or whatever, the pterodactyl type men, I forget their exact name, by casting invisibility on our flying tiefling rogue, who flew up there and like successfully rolled perfectly all the way through to sneak through the whole place and loot all their stuff and get out before anybody noticed. That was rad. Soul Rift X, playable Tarask. Right. Dracoreth. Let's try the other way then. What questions do you want us to stop asking you? Honestly, I know a lot of players, or rather a lot of people in the office probably would think, well, why don't you get them to stop asking the same questions every week about event champions and about features that they know are on their way but we haven't done, or what have you. But like, honestly, I don't think there are any questions I want you to stop asking, just because we are a small enough team that it's easy for us to have too much on the go and for things to get missed. So it's like your repeated asking of these questions is what reminds us, and it keeps us on our toes, and so it is actually hugely beneficial to us. So don't stop asking us questions. Certainly if you have an official answer to something and it's a question that somebody else asks, feel free to say, you know, Dylan or Justin or Erica or whoever said this on the stream or whatever, like it has been answered, because I wouldn't mind repeating myself less, but I'm certainly not going to get frustrated with people asking the same questions again, just because that's what communication is for. Like, that's why I am here. I am literally here to answer your questions. So yeah. All right, before I do that, what is her speed at? 5.85. What's Barrow at right now? 4.15. Oh, yeah. No, I guess I will leave it. Yeah, I'm still going to go with brute strength right now. All right, next question. Would it be possible to move the changelog X at least 10 pixels from the exit game X? Oh, what do you mean so? Yeah, that's close. It's a pretty big button though. I don't know. It's a big button. But yes, I will make a note about that because maybe there's a way we can make it just a little bit more subtle so that there are fewer accidental clicks. Kitty kitty big butt. I'm just going to level my characters before I get to the next question because I don't want to embarrassingly wipe like I tend to on stream all the time. That just like shows how bad I am at this game. I've also I've been playing Into the Breach a lot lately, so that came out what, Tuesday? It's Thursday? Yeah, and I put my spare gaming hours into that awesome game from the people who made FTL. If that's your jam, you like robots? That's probably sufficient, eh? What am I at? E55 DPS. I feel like these characters will get past 104. Alright, Scarlett Evans. Maybe you could make a moving bag clickable, like with the Ravens. Every time I kill the boss at the edge of the screen, it keeps leaping multiple times towards the middle of the screen, and it's invulnerable, unless it reaches there. Oh, I see. So the boss drop bag? Well, I mean, I'll make a note about looking into it, but that's one of those things where, I mean, we want you to click on it when it lands in the middle and it sprouts open, right? Yeah. Tolwyn, show us your dice. I don't have them in the room with me. I'm a little OCD when it comes to my dice, but I can link them. All right. In my bin, I have, who's this for? Tolwyn. I'm just going to post it in chat from CNE Dylan. I have 3 sets of those, the Lustrous Shadow with gold, in my dice, because I like a lot of my dice looking the same. And then the other set that I have is like this. Where is it? It's these ones. I'll just link that one after. So anybody who's not, because it'll look weird because there's enough of a delay that I'll post this in chat and then 7 seconds later I'll talk about it. Yeah. Anyways, those are the sets from my dice right now. I have some older sets that are like some heavily played dice, but they're all just in a bag. I have like a tin that has 3 sets of the Lustrous Shadow Gold from Chissex and 1 set of the Scarab like Scarlet Gold. And I love them. The Scarlet Scarab one, like as soon as I saw them, I'm like, I am getting those dice. What was it? It was like Kraken dice or something. Had a sale on, and a bunch of our office bought them all at once, like yesterday, I think, or the day before. Just gonna scroll up and have a look. Boom, boom, boom. Oh God, I'm singing along to the music. Anyways, they got a whole bunch. Committer Rifty, did you guys get given Tomb of Annihilation dice? I don't know that we were given any, but Peter has them. That's what Peter uses. A corpse. You don't carry them in a little pouch on your hip? No, I don't. They're in a tin. They're in a repurposed mint tin. Yeah. Justin Spluter, if you got to be a guest player on Critical Role in the current campaign, what would you play? They would. Why would they ever have me on there? They have actual famous friends. Like, I don't know if anybody watched Critical Role last week. I hope you did. But it was a Kari something. I forget Kari's last name. Killed it as a guest. Was so awesome. I am not a voice actor. I would be so awful on Critical Role. It'll never happen ever. But I appreciate you asking. If I could play whatever, Shakaste, yeah, that was the name. Kari Payton. Oh, God, he was awesome. He's, it's rare that anybody other than Laura Bailey's Jester is stealing the spotlight on that show, because Jester and Sam Riegold's Knot are just so good. And like definitely the highlight of the last episode was Sam Riegel's 80s inspired theme song for D&D Beyond, because I was humming that to myself for days. It was so amazing. But yeah, such good guest characters. I couldn't imagine. I'd be humbled to just be able to meet any of them and say hi. And in terms of what I play, whatever they want. I'm easy. Maybe my fighty halfling. I was just thinking like an out of character halfling, because like halflings are always so I mean, they just like, they love life, and like they're lucky and they're fun, and like they're like favored by the gods in these kind of weird ways. Well, they're gods anyways. And I was just thinking it'd be fun to have like one that's like curmudgeon-y but lovable, you know, like who's just like really angry and fighty, but like it's still really lovable and adorable in a way. And it's just, yeah, I don't know. Crimson Biddy, any chance we will have more achievements added? We had more achievements added today that were supposed to be out yesterday, and there will be more. Yes, so yes, categorically yes, there will be more achievements added. Letters number letters. Do you plan to add a second instance of specialization choice, like Regis has with encouragement and weakness to the 12 characters we all start with and Hitch? I can't answer that, but I can say that that's a design idea that has been talked about before. Bonk. Bonk. Mars of the Manor. Background used to be a tag on each champion, but was patched out. Any plans on bringing that back in some implementation? You know, I don't know. I vaguely remember that still being there. It's funny because it's a little bit like with the game constantly evolving, it's like your brain is always kind of on the next part. Also, good luck to those in the raffle right now. This raffle, I believe, is for a Minsk and Boo Go for the Eyes DLC, I think. Yeah, Minsk and Boo Go for the Eyes DLC. So that's the DLC that came out most recently that has, I don't think, ever been on sale either. So good luck. Good luck and preemptive congratulations. You'll get one of these fine things, a silken cloak of the beloved Ranger. So yeah. Mars of the Manor, I don't know. There are a few things that we have discussed around the character sheets. For example, you know, a citation from the bio about where this character is from, whether it's a character that originated from one of R.A. Salvatore's books, or a character that was from a specific game, like Birdsong was created for the Tomb of Annihilation board game by WizKids, or whatever, what have you. And the same thing with the character sheet stats, because some characters, like Dritz, have had many iterations. And so, you know, we could cite, this is the iteration of this is the sheet that we're using, so that people would be like, oh, okay, it would just help people understand where we're coming from. Because like we take place, like our game takes place in the Forgotten Realms, but it takes place in somewhat of a vague time frame, in that it's like any and all 5e time is when it takes place. It's like, you know, it's the year is XXX, and you know, all things are happening kind of deal. Time isn't really progressing forward in a logical way for us as we release content. So yeah. Anyways, Tib5471. Has there been any thoughts put into releasing an Unearthed Arcana Paladin that follows the Raven Queen? I looked as best I could before having to fall back on homebrew. I cannot at all in any way comment on what may come into Unearthed Arcana, because I have no idea. I believe that's entirely the domain of Jeremy Crawford and Mike Merles and playtesting content. What I can say is that there was an interview with Mike Merles about the Raven Queen on D&D Beyond either this week or last week maybe, where he was going over who the Raven Queen is and who the Shadowkai are and how that fits together. So that would allow you to have a much better insight into that character. There are some instant references to the Raven Queen in Unearthed Arcana, but not specifically for a Paladin. There is, I want to say, one of the Warlock subclass Unearthed Arcanas had something about the Raven Queen in it. So yeah, That will probably help. But it sounds like, based on Mike Merle's interview that Todd Kenrick did for D&D Beyond, that there'll be a lot more information about Raven Queen in the next book, which comes out end of May, I think, is when Mordenkainen's Tome of Foe comes out. Yeah. Sorry I can't help more, but I don't work at Wizards of the Coast. Crimson Biddy. Can we possibly in the future get event chests that maybe cost 2,000 gems or more each that only hold event items? I don't know. I will pass it along. I have no idea if we plan to do any chests. Draugr, are you guys going to any cons this year? Yes. I do not have a full list, and there's a number of them we are still discussing, so we may or may not participate in. We have been talking about TwitchCon 2018, but I don't know if we will go. We're too slow to participate in Emerald City Comic Con this year because it's coming up too quickly. I want to say the end of 2 weeks from now. Yeah, 2 weeks from now, there will be Capital City Comic Con here in Victoria, which we will definitely be participating in. Also, congratulations to Jickler, on the Minsc and Boo DLC. So yeah, Draugr, I'm not sure which others we will attend. We don't necessarily have booths at all of them either. Just as an example, like our CEO, Eric, sometimes he will just go. He will be there, and he will be there to connect with people, network, say hi, etc. And so he can social butterfly some cons quite a bit more frequently than Clive or myself. Oh, excuse me, will be there. So, yeah, I don't have more information about that, Draugr. I'm sorry, but Capital City Comic Con here in Victoria for sure. Certainly, we can't miss a con that's literally in our backyard. But I am not sure yet on others. Possibly. Zeza Shatan. Do you think that your formation is good? Well, I don't know if I do now. I think this formation is solid. We have all buffs focused on Jamila. We have Barrowan in there buffing everybody. But primarily buffing Jamila so that Jamila can hit even harder. Birdsong is well in range and is also buffing neutral. Ashara's bond with humans, Hitch's charisma, charismatic friendly buff. Regis buffing both ahead of him, but also debuffing enemies for melee. Bruner buffing her, Naeli buffing her. I feel like this formation is pretty decent. Formations very much like this tend to be the ones that I use to push to my wall. Yeah, I used to use Ashara sometimes to push to my wall, just because Dadius made that possible. But Jamila's second Golden Epic and the upgrades have really made it an all Jamila show for me of late. So, yeah, Zeza Shatan, I hope that answered your question. Giant Dwarf, how many ranged heroes should we expect to make? That Regis spec a better option? Off the top of my head, I can think of 2 ranged heroes that will definitely be in the game in the next few months. Kabrinsky 268. Does Drow count as an elf in Ashara's specialization? I believe it does. It certainly should. I mean, I know that Drow are distinct from other types of elves, but I mean, in the player's handbook, it's like if you choose elf, Drow is a subrace of elf. So it should be covered. 007 Smiley Cyrus. That's quite the name. If God had a name, what would it be, and would you call it to his face? Sure, why not? What would the name be? Wouldn't the name just be God, them, thee, something like that? I don't know. It's such a strange question. Grey Hex, any plans to get a 13 slot open? Someday. Committer Rifty, CMI DRFTI. Smidrifty? Can you get the C&E characters done as level 1 starter characters for Dungeon Plus or DM's Guild? I don't see why not. I have no idea how we would do that. But, yeah, send me a how-to, and I don't see why we couldn't just throw them in there. Atma2862, what's your favorite D&D song? Totally the D&D Beyond song that Sam Riegel sung at the beginning of last week's Critical Role, because that was amazing. I hope that they turn it into some sort of 80s themed video that they share, because it was pure joy, pure joy. Cryptic 666, Dungeons and Dragons, but still no Beholder boss. So obviously our logo is a beholder, Iris the Beholder, and the thing about beholders is that they're super badass and super dangerous, and we just haven't had the right context yet to put one in as an enemy. It will happen, and we also want, you know, like, as you can see from the zombie T-Rex and from the Devourer and from the crazy giant monster spider that's in the Silken Swamp adventure, we're steadily upping our boss game. So we'll get to beholders. Akir Games, can you share some insight about favor types? Why were Torm and Kellenborg chosen as main campaign favors while, for example, Shanti was chosen for an event? So the favors are selected based on campaign and event, based on it's the god most relevant to what we're doing. So, like, as an example, Tomb of Annihilation campaign, the Death Curse, you know, heading to Omu for the tomb, and, you know, all that stuff. The deity that we picked was Kellenborg, because Kellenborg is one of the gods of the dead in the Forgotten Realms canon, but also is very much concerned with the balance of life and death. You know, does not like undead because they're supposed to be dead, but also doesn't like people messing with the process of transitioning from from life into the afterlife. And so it made the most sense. Shanti being a harvest goddess, the event was High Harvestide. It was a harvest related event, and so that's why we picked them. So each deity picked for an event it's because those types of gods are in some way related to the theme of each one of these events. And it has been noted to us before that one thing that we are missing is, sorry, Lauren just linked the linked to Sam singing the D&D Beyond jingle. I still want to click on it, but you'll just hear it through the speakers. No, I'll do that later. Just watch it and love it, and come back. So yeah, we've been asked to add the god backstory for the favor screen, so that when you went to the blessings menu, that we had something that said who each one of these gods are, and so it's just kind of, it's on our to-do list. It's our backlog, because yeah, it's like certainly there's plenty of room here for Soon, and plenty of room here for Auril, and so on. So yeah, Jurgle being another death god or death-related god. So yeah, that would probably help people understand better why we chose each one. But we can say that, like, yeah, we select them based on the theme of the campaign, and we also run that past Wizards while we do it. Buffalo Val, do you see any crossovers of storylines with Neverwinter online games, scenarios for Neverwinter, or new story arcs for Ardell Champions? I don't know that we have anything planned to do such a thing. I'm never going to rule out 100% any possibilities, because all things can change. But yeah, I don't know that we're actively planning anything like that right now. Samirifti, I'm never going to pronounce that name properly. I don't. Okay. Can we make Dylan start a new account with none of the staff bonuses just to see how far he can push? Oh God, you want me to start over? before I got the staff bonuses, where you get things like the Force Grey DLC. And before I worked at Codename Entertainment, I actually was playing the game, and I had purchased the first round of DLC, the Bruner, Celeste, and Nayeli starter packs. Yeah, my gear is certainly crazy right now. So yeah, because this is my personal account. Although I have considered just having a dev account to use specifically for the stream, maybe direct decked out in just rare gear or something. But yeah, I don't know. I will not push as far as I can right now because my gear is very good. Sylphid, why doesn't Ashara work on half-elves? Because she does not have a bond half-elf bond. Elves and dwarves and humans, they're distinct. Half-elves are outsiders both from human and elven society in D&D and also in our game. Mars of the Manor again. Are you guys planning for each campaign to have an end point, or just to update them forever with new adventures? Right now, I don't think I'd get in trouble for saying this. We're not planning an end to the Grand Tour of the Sword Coast because that's the main campaign, and it's just going to keep going. But yeah, I mean, we will eventually finish the Tomb of Annihilation. I don't want to spoil it for anybody who maybe hasn't played it, so I won't talk too much about it. But yeah, we will eventually get there. You know, we also will eventually add campaigns related to whatever the upcoming releases from Wizards of the Coast end up being, whenever that happens. I don't know. We'll get release dates someday. Instead, we'll just, in the meantime, we will just wait. PB and Jotter, it would be nice to have a Mordenkainen campaign. I don't know that Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes is a campaign book. I think it's been described as similar to being Volo's Guide to Monsters, so it's going to be a mix of content. It's going to be like some lore, some monsters, and some other stuff, so I don't know that we could make a campaign out of it. But certainly, given the opportunity, we would love to include some things in our game from Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes, so we'll see if that happens. Megisa. Will Ashara's bond ability be updated to include new races? No, we're not planning on doing that. We haven't ruled out the possibility of adding additional specializations to characters or changing them or allowing characters to, I don't know. I mean, it was joked. This is not something we said we would do, but like the idea has been floated that multi-classing could be a thing for some of our characters, but I don't know that we'll do any of those things. You know, that would create such a crazy amount of work for Justin to do. Just balancing classes and subclasses and multi-classing and so on and so forth. Like, that would just be a massive amount of stuff. So, I don't know. But no, no additional bonds for Ashara. We want to leave room to have other characters swap and be able to have different types of buffs and specializations. We don't want Ashara to become the be-all, end-all of buffing that never leaves a formation, ever. Letters number letters. Please, more backstory for Gods in Favor. Do any of the bonus types you buy with Favor have any tie-in to Tormund Kellamore powers? Yeah, that's a fantastic example of why we should do something along those lines. So I will make another note about that, because that's one of those things that, like, we've talked about it and we've floated the idea and it just kind of like fell through the cracks. So hopefully we can get that in. Route Jarvi. It has probably been asked many times, but can we get some variations of music for the game? Okay, just give me a second. So, variations on music. That's a funny thing. What can I say? I can say that we are not planning to do that. That we kind of see this game in a lot of ways as it's something that, like, it can always be open, but you can tab out of it. I don't know how many people play with the sound effects on, so you actually hear the hacks and slashes, but I suspect it isn't very many. And I suspect that the numbers of players who mute the music altogether and in favor of having their Spotify or whatever on is probably very high. And we don't mind that. Music the music for the game isn't a priority for us. Now that said, I mean, I listen to the music all stream long every week, and like even sometimes find myself humming along to it because you start to know it pretty well. But yeah, I don't know that we're planning to add more. Doesn't mean it'll never happen though. C mid Rifty, okay. If you can get us CNE champions as pre-gens, what's the likelihood of a 1 to 5 Idle Champions module? I can't think of anybody in office who has time to write that. We're just using our characters for Curse of Strahd, so like this is our Curse of Strahd group. You know, it's a very emo Hexblade Warlock. It's a human thief with lofty ambitions. There's a human bard who is very scarred from some intense life experiences. There is I think Clive's gnome is a rock gnome druid, some kind of gnome druid, who is just like eager to learn everything, of course, and a water genasi cleric who we don't know very well yet, but used to be a sailor. Yeah, it's like, I wouldn't say it's the most balanced party ever, but it's not the most imbalanced I've ever played either. It's fun, and yeah, I'm glad we're finally starting to click, and it's good. It'll make for some interesting character development and RPing moving forward. Letters number letters. Different drinks for different types of hard questions. Yeah, I actually have a third drink here, but it's slightly out of reach. But yeah, I have my carbonated water, and then I have my caffeinated, no sugar beverage. Very cool. What is the question to life, the universe, and everything? Oh man, I mean, I know the answer is 42, but the question, the ultimate question, didn't they settle on 6 times 7? Wasn't that it? Flying Bee. If anybody's lost, by the way, with that last one, it's Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy reference. Flying Bee. How can you tell if a creature is a beast, fey, humanoid, or undead, etc.? Okay, so this is something that we messed up in a way that we haven't found a UI element yet to add, but basically all the creature types are taken from the monster manual for 5th edition, which is why in some cases some of them might be a little bit counterintuitive, because there are types of wolves that qualify as monstrosities and not beasts, and so sometimes Minsk's favored enemy buff will change. It won't affect one. So on that note, if Minsk's favored enemy is targeting a race that you've picked, they will get a little red circle underneath them with a skull to signify the debuff on them, that they'll take more damage. But yeah, right now we don't have anything in game that allows you to like click on an enemy or mouse over them to say what kind of creature type they are. It's all from the monster manual. Skralg 1. Once you unlock Dritz, what chests drop his gear? Regular silver and gold chests drop Dritz gear. Dritz is a permanent unlock that you get through the Grand Tour of the Sword Coast campaign, which is the one of the 2 main campaigns we have right now. So he, yeah, you gear him up just through the regular chests, just like anybody else. As I understand it, based on some math done by some of the players, the best way to gear him up is to open, if you have chests stashed, to open silver chests until he's got all of his slots in, and then because hopefully you get a rare or 2 in there, and then after that open gold chests until you yeah, get him geared. Curve 912911. Will there ever be any divine favor upgrades that are like start at level 50 or 100? Probably a bunch of upgrades like things work and starting with enough money to have Bruner kill an enemy. I just generally walk away from the game after I start a free play, and it's not like I can progress while the game is not on. Kind of a pain. Okay, so this ties into something that we've talked about on stream probably 3 or 4 times since October, which isn't to say that we've actually talked about it a great deal, because we also haven't released any information around it. David mentioned on his first stream that we will eventually reach a point that we want to be able to speed up the leveling process so that you can get into you can catch up to your wall a little faster, and that you can, so that it doesn't just take longer and longer and longer exponentially to progress in the game. So at some point we will have a way of speeding up. I don't know what that looks like. I don't know what we are thinking about doing to the game to do that. That isn't that's something that we recognize and we've acknowledged, and that we see this issue coming, but we're not sure yet what we're going to do about it. See Midrifty. Get us the pre-gens and an idle themed idea. The community could manage it. Would it be good to have some stuff on DM's Guild? I mean, I don't know. I suppose it's always fun to have things where people can access them, and if DM's Guild is the easiest way for us to put our office characters, we can. We did 6 hours of our Extra Life 24-hour stream was us playing characters that we had made in a D&D campaign that was a bit of a... Actually, none of us died until the very end, but like any one of us could have died at any time because of the stuff that was going on. But yeah, I mean, we could find a way to release our character sheets. Yeah. Question. Let's see. Looter DXP. You should add a bestiaria so we can see the type of creatures that we've encountered. That is a common suggestion. I don't know how we will do something like that yet. Certainly creating from scratch a bestiary for the game is a crazy amount of work for someone or some people. So yeah. Garwar. Will there be a permanent champion unlock from the Tomb of Annihilation campaign? Can this please be a thing with each campaign? I cannot comment. Yeah. I like where your mind is going. Silisa. Oh, welcome, Silisa. Will we see tiered rewards? For instance, right now we get a silver or gold chest for hitting level 50 in an event free play. Will we get higher rewards for higher clears? 2 chests for 150. That touches on the subject of just our rewards in general from things like free plays and from different adventures and variants, because certainly some of them are much more challenging than others, but all of them reward just 100 gems. So possibly, it's certainly something that we might explore. Yeah. Temuk. Are some champions only unlockable during events? Yes. So to date, we have 2 unlocks that are not from events. We have Dritz, who you can, after you've pushed quite far into the Grand Tour of the Sword Coast campaign, you can unlock through a pretty difficult variant. And Hitch, who you can unlock through signing up for our newsletter for Idle Champions. All the rest of the swaps so far are event champions. So, you have Dadius from Cimmeral, you have Stokey here from High Harvestide, you have Grama, which I believe was Liar's Night, you have Regis from Midwinter, Birdsong from Grand Revel, and then Barrowan from Winter Shield, and more to come, Eugene Gadir, do you have a spreadsheet where you track how many times common questions are asked? No, I don't. It's I don't mind answering them again, because it just means that there are more new players who need answers to questions, and so it's important that we put in the time to help them out if we can. Also, God, how many checks would that? Some of these questions there would be a lot of checks behind, certainly. But yeah, a corpse, pretty difficult variant. I only managed it with special weekend buff plus potion spam. Yeah, it was hard. Even for players with decked out groups, it was a challenging one. But it's also because it's something because unlocking Dritz through that variant is always around, and we will continue to release level cap upgrades. It will eventually become a lot easier to unlock. Yeah. All right. How are my characters doing? E27. Okay, well, let's get these guys leveled up. I wonder, I'm surely somebody else can tell me because I suspect this is the answer, but is Calliope still the most expensive character to level up all the way? I think she is. Alright, E58 now. Okay, well, I'm getting there. Alright. Megisa. Wonder what the Easter event will be called. I almost answered that. Route Jarvie. Are any of the DMG games you play in on YouTube? No. The only one of that's on anything is the Codename Entertainment Twitch channel. Twitch.tv/codename_entertainment, I believe. Should still have our Extra Life 2017 24-hour stream, during which we played D&D from our, let's see, we started at 8 a.m. and ended at 8 a.m. I think. It was either 8 until 8 or 9 until 9, but either way, we played from noon until 2 or 3, and then we played again in the evening for another 3 or so, 2 or 3 hours. So that's the only one that we did on any kind of streaming anything. Yeah. Alrighty, just trying to read chat and keep up. Curve 912911. Suggestion to allow players to get old event champions by having in between events, where they can do old events to get those characters. We're not going to do that, but we are going to introduce another way for people to get characters that they've missed, because yeah, it's, I mean, it sucks to, I mean, say you just started today, which I know at least one person has, and you've missed all of the event characters so far. I mean, that doesn't mean that you can't progress through everything that's currently in the game, but like, it doesn't make it easier either. So yeah. Oh, the spider's legs turned white this time. Good to know. I am optimistic that I'm going to tear through the 150 boss pretty easily, but I don't know about the 200 one. That could be really tough. Yeah, it's, yeah, Niles, that's it. It's a bug. Boo. Alright. Lucothia, next time you have a guest, you should randomly swap between left and right when the viewers aren't expecting. Okay, yeah, that'd be kind of funny. You have completed the current objective. No, I'm gonna keep going. Let's keep going. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry, OMFG Tora and Mickey say it was terrible. I knew it was terrible before I said it, but I couldn't stop myself, so I did it anyways. Yeah. Oh man. Well, you know, I'm glad that people are still trying the game. I know that idle clicker games, it's like, it's a genre that isn't necessarily for every gamer. I mean, there are games for every type of gamer, and you know, a game where you make management decisions and leave the game to go based on the choices you've made is definitely a very different experience from playing, I don't know, Fortnite, like our office seems to always be doing, either during lunch or at the end of the workday. So yeah, I'm glad that people are finding us and that they are enjoying their experience. I know that especially for Dungeons and Dragons veteran players, that it may be a little counterintuitive because you don't create your own character for this. You know, you're managing pre-created characters. In many ways, it's you know, Dungeons and Dragons management. But it's I'm glad that people are enjoying it. You know, it's I'm glad that you're here. So welcome. Let's see. See Midrifty, do you know if there's a Reddit sidebar for the FA or the weekly giveaways? Sorry, maybe it's because I haven't had my afternoon tea yet and I'm low on caffeine, but what do you mean by FA, C Midrifty? The Reddit sidebar updates that Wistix put in, and a shout out to Wistix for doing this, because it's all Wistix, like putting in the initiative and getting that together. And it's funny because right after he put in this thing that showed the upcoming events calendar and just like reorganizing our sidebar on our subreddit, the next day we got the email from Reddit being like, you could test the new Reddit alpha and change the layout of your whole thing, and it's got like a built-in calendar and stuff. So I don't know if and when we're going to be switching to that. We might. But yeah, so you're wondering if we could put in the like the dungeon drunks and stuff like that. I don't know. We hadn't considered it. We're still like kind of exploring the possibilities with what we'll do with the calendar. I'm still pushing to be able to put more of our update schedule for the game on it. So yeah. Malkavian logic. Why won't event champions not just be available at the same event time next year? Lack of diversity in the long run. It's one of those things where it sucks to miss out on a character. Like it sucks. And so yes, like all event characters, like they will come around again. You will get another opportunity to get a crack at them the same way that other players did before. But it's like, it doesn't solve the issue of people who, like, through no fault of their own, they just missed it. You know, you were busy. You had to, you know, like, there were people who missed completing all of Cimril or Winter Shield just because of their Christmas travel or their Thanksgiving travel in the States. And so, you know, like, that sucks. And so we want to add a way to get them outside of those events, because those events will come around and they can unlock those characters or the characters that get released subsequently. But we want to make sure that there's another way for people to do it, just so that, you know, because it sucks to miss out. That's really it. Niall Sustenant. Are there plans to make this into more of an actual idle game? Unless I'm farming at my wall, I will always have to be playing, choosing upgrades, leveling, that sort of thing. Maybe pre-choose everything so you can actually idle while you wait play. How do I say this? I can say that you will be very happy with some of the features that are coming. And I cannot in any way mention how or why yet. But there will be, yeah. There will be some additional features down the line that will help you be more idle if you wish. Yeah, let's see. Okay. Oh, see, I'm humming along to the music again. Darn it. All right. What's next? Siley says stats. Yes. Thank you for reminding. That is on my list that I keep pushing towards the dev team, that people want more stats. They want to be able to know more about what's going on and so on and so forth. So yes. I don't know what it's going to look like yet, but there will be something. God, that's vague. I'm sorry that's so vague. I hate being in a position where I have to be so ambiguous about some of the stuff, but it's just like there's just so many things that we're just not ready to talk about. So yeah. Will there be an option to change color schemes at some point, purely cosmetic? So if you mean like a color blindness mode, it's something that we've discussed, and I'm not sure what we will be doing related to it. the yeah, because it's like I think oh god, something like 20% of gamers are no, I don't remember the exact figure, but like there is a staggering number of players who are colorblind, and we haven't done anything to accommodate them yet. So I hope that we can get something in, but I don't know when that'll happen, or I certainly don't have an ETA for it. Very cool. Will Redacted be released by Redacted? Redacted. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to talk about this a bit before our final giveaway, because I think our final giveaway is coming up in a few minutes. This last one, some of you may have, some of you may not, because we've had sales on this DLC, and it's been around. It's one of our longest running DLCs, but it is also our most valuable DLC. I mean, it offers the most. So the next giveaway is for a Nayeli starter pack. So I don't know when Erica's gonna kick that off. Sometime in the next 5 to 10 minutes. But yeah, that is a boatload of gold chests, and you know, it's a gold shiny epic for Bayeli, and then rares for every other slot for the tank that you are using. Let's be honest, you are using Nayeli. So when that starts, hold your horses, everybody. It's a damn good DLC, and good luck. Alright, now it has begun. Now you can blow up chat. Cozy, will events get cycled next year, or will more events keep being added? So that's the big reason why we haven't definitively said that X or Y event is returning next year, is because we're not 100% clear on which events we want to always use. I mean, we did do 3 winter events back to back, and that might not necessarily be the case for 2018 going into 2019. But whatever event is around that time, the previous year's champions will be available. I believe that's the intent, and that whatever the new one is will also be. So you can complete the objectives to unlock one, and then complete the objectives to unlock another. That is not set in stone. You know, that is, we want to make it so that we can do things like that. But it's yeah, we don't have a 100% established cadence and schedule for Idle Champions yet, which is one of the reasons why we so rarely share information about what's coming out next. But yeah, what else can I say? Can I say anything else about that? Probably not. I haven't reached my level caps yet, so I don't remember who it was who was saying before that they were seeing a DPS decrease with the latest patch, but I'm not seeing a decrease. Yeah. So Gideon69 asking what the reason was behind moving icons for buffs from one side to another. Was it just to mess with us? If you're referring to the specialization changes, it was mentioned in the patch notes that because our specializations have shifted position several times now, Celeste being the one who is victim to the most swaps, and it's because of the way that we had set them up initially, and with yesterday's patch we adjusted that system and assigned IDs to all of the specialization types, so that there will be an established order from here until forever. So yeah, it's one of those things where it definitely swapped for everybody this time, and for quite a few champions had more than one swap shifting around. So you know, that first playthrough after the Grand Tour Part 4 patch would have been, chances are you made a mistake, but that should never happen again, hopefully. That was the intent. Y'all are Benny Beckler asking whether or not we can localize chest purchasing so people can buy more frequently, and what would be more balanced if you don't have a dollar-based job. Yeah, I'm not really sure about how that works. The whole Steam thing is above my pay grade. I do know that our work with Steam, we are very much at the mercy of their policies and how everything functions. So, yeah, like we're, yeah, I don't know if there's even anything that we can do about that, but I can pass that feedback along. Giant Dwarf, a suggestion: any way to get an auto clicker engaged when you use a fire breath pod? I'll pass that along. Very cool, Grama. Are you wanting me to swap to Grama? Because I don't know, this formation is so elegant and it's working so well. You want me to mess with it? You probably do, hey? Darth Details, congratulations on unlocking Dritz. I really like Dritz a lot, and I cannot wait until there are more companions of the hall so that his power level keeps increasing. I mean, I got blues for his blue shinies for his ultimate ability, but I did get the purchase one. Yeah, I don't know. Come on, Dritz. Yeah, congratulations on completing and unlocking him. You can now do the adventure that I'm doing right now, apparently. Yeah. Looks like other characters other than Jamila are still killing enemies, so I will be able to push for a while yet. Is that raffle still going? I didn't see who won. Oh, no, it's still going. Okay. Yeah, wow. All right. Very cool. I'm actually going to be doing a junk run once I finish the new base adventures to see if Devotion / Spiked Shell can interfere with the new Zone 50 spider boss. Let us know. I'd be curious to know that myself. PB and Jotter, what's the max amount of viewers you've had for a single stream? I think we've topped out around like 600 or something like that. During the stream, I'm never in a position to actually check because of the way that I have all my windows set up on these screens. Yeah. Yeah, Lauren, nothing does last longer than a raffle chat. It just keeps going and going. And Mia, I find it a little amusing that everyone and their dog have released an idle game. There was an odd one now and then, but maybe a year or two ago you couldn't leave the house without seeing one. Yeah, we certainly seem to be on the later part of the curve of popularity, if you will, with idle games. I don't know how many longer. Erica, I did not schedule any tweets related to raffle giveaways today, so yes, this one is still going, and it's a biggie too. So yeah, good luck. That's so many chests. You'll notice that we didn't do that again. Hey, like the Bruner, Celeste, and Naeli DLC packs, kind of like they scaled up by increments where you got radically more chests with each one. But we never did that again. We kind of like having the price point of the base level one. It seems to work out well for people. So yeah. Koani got Dritz many weeks ago. Still fail at Lost in the Deep. Lost in the Deep was hard. I think that was the hardest one for me. It's tough. Yeah. A corpse. I've not used an auto clicker, though I hear them mentioned a lot. Are they frowned upon? I assumed it's not really intended for people to use them. Well, we didn't build them into the game, a corpse. You know, people who are using auto clickers are using third-party programs to help augment their gameplay. Just like other players who use scripting to keep it going. You know, and you know who you are. So, yeah, I mean, it's not a part of the game that you have to do. You have to participate in or don't have to participate in. It's just it's something else. We don't have any official stance on scripting or auto clickers. It's just kind of, it is what it is. This is a single player game. You're not competing against anybody. There's nothing to win at the end. It's you know, so it's like you're augmenting your own experience. See Midrifty, Steam trading cards soon. I hope so. Like I've mentioned before, they are designed. I don't know what is holding that back. Yeah, I can't give more of an answer than that because I don't know what's holding them back. But I know that it's like art has been created for them, and I'm pretty sure they've been spec'd out. So I'm not sure. You know, it could just be like just the time constraints of the devs having not gotten to it yet. Giant Dwarf request: can ultimates get a general damage buff and give more of them some utility to compensate for the new cooldown caps? I'll make a note about it. I know that balance is an ongoing thing, and it is 100%. It is 100% Justin's domain. I don't know what his decision is going to be on it. Drew user Pixel Higitsune. Congratulations on that DLC. That's a lot. Yeah. Sorry, I'm not talking. I'm trying to read chat and keep up. Silisa, I'm competing against you, Dylan. I think I lose, though. There are plenty of people who are ahead of me and who have way more gear or shinies, believe it or not. For some reason, it seems like when I opened my potions of shininess, it like almost completely decked out Bruner and Regis, just like crazy amounts. But like other characters, maybe not so lucky. I mean, you know, the RNG aspect of getting your gear is, you know, everybody's going to have slightly different loadouts. But I mean, there are players who've been scripting and using auto clickers and keeping things running 24/7 since the game launched, and they're so much further ahead than me that they are the 0.001% of the people who play this game. I'm certainly probably in the higher end in terms of how geared I am, but there actually are a number of players who are way ahead. Yeah. Pedal Stomper, how about Steam Workshop access so players can make their own UI? I don't know that that'll happen. I mean, I can mention that to the team, but I don't know. Alts become unsatisfying at upper levels. Sinister 242. Yeah, it's interesting. It's actually that's less the Ultimate's fault and more Barrowin's fault than anything. You know, it was mentioned in the Q&A yesterday, and it's been mentioned a few times, both on stream and in other Q&As, that like we're not really happy with where Barrowin is at and with how Barrowin interacts with the game. And like Justin has ideas on how to address it, but it's like we don't have an ETA for how to change it more, and so we kind of did like we covered our bases and made sure that the game-breaking elements of Barrowin were changed. So people who put the effort in can still find ways to stack or buff up to 4 stacks for some characters, and use that to push further, but no longer can push to infinity and well past where players are intended to ever get, even. So, yeah. Very cool. I got 4 potions of polish when they got rolled out. 2 of them wound up on Dillana. In light of that, when is Dillana's special event happening? What can I say about that? I could say that Dillana will have her day. That we haven't forgotten about her. But I can't give you an ETA on it. Yeah. Also, like off the top of my head, I don't know. I'd have to go check our schedule. But Dillana will have her day. I'll say that. That seems like a good one to start wrapping this up on. Thank you all for joining me for an hour and 53 odd minutes of my throat getting gradually more dry and me continuing to go on. Yeah, it's awesome to have you join me each week. It's a lot of fun, and there's quite a few people in here today who you know, playing the game for the first time, which is awesome. So I hope you join us in the Discord community, discord.gg/idlechampions. There is also a link in the Idle Champions subreddit in the sidebar. The subreddit is reddit.com/r/idlechampions. You know, we do weekly Q&As on the subreddit, or at least we try to. So every Wednesday morning at 10 a.m. Pacific until about lunchtime, I am there answering questions, and perhaps more importantly to some of you, since there are many questions I can't answer, passing along questions to the higher ups who need to know them, and to get those answers back. So I'll poke Justin and Dave and whoever else to try and get the rest of the answers for people. So there's a weekly Q&A that we do on Reddit, 10 Wednesdays Pacific, and then I do check it periodically throughout the week, although it you know, tend to get overwhelmed with other things to get done. And then obviously welcome here, and I hope to see you in the Discord. If not, it's funny, I was about to thank my guest for today, but I didn't have one. Yes, thank you all for joining me. Thanks to Wizards of the Coast for hosting us. Thanks to you for watching. And the second episode of Holly Conrad's Trapped in a Birdcage, I believe, is the thing that is coming up next. It starts at 5. And then, of course, Critical Role at 7. So yeah, I will see you next week. Same time, same channel. Thanks, everybody.